Hello my gorgeous friends on the internet, how are you all doing? Okay, so welcome to another exciting tutorial, and today I'm going to show you guys how you can perform search with your Firebase Cloud Firestore. Okay, let's just assume that you have datas. So let's say we have a collection with datas inside the collection, and you want to perform search inside. Like once the user types in a certain keyword, you just want to search through the database and then return the data. Let's say you want to use the category, you want to use the description or the title of the product to actually compare it with the keyword that the user typed, and then return the results to them. Okay, so remember my previous video, I showed you guys how to, we use a dummy data for actually performing search in the previous video. So I'm going to put a link below in case you missed that part. So, and I also promised I was going to make another one using Firebase as an example. This is actually the collection we'll be searching through, and the collection name is all products. So here I have all the products inside this particular project, and I have the first product, the second item, and the third item. So I have 3 items, and the keyword and the feed I'm going to use to perform the search, like to compare it to what the user type, is going to be the title. Okay, so we did similar thing in the previous video too. We use title where we use where the element of title is equal to the query, which is what the user typed. Okay, then I compared it and then returned the result. So in this case I'm also going to use title because title is here. But in your case, it might not be title. It might, maybe you want to search based on name of the user. You can just use the author name. I don't know how you will name your own. You can use username or whatever. You can also use category to actually search for the particular user. But just go through your Firebase collection, your feed, and just check out all your keys, and then look for the key that you want to use to perform the search. Okay, but in this case now I've already selected title, so I'll be using the title to actually compare it with what the user typed and then perform the search. So note where our collection is, all products, and then the IDs of each of the products inside. All right, so but before you start this, I want to assume that you have already connected your project to Firestore, and you have already connected your project to Firebase, and you already have some documents inside Firebase already. Okay, so that way if you have done that, then we are good to go. Okay, so now we return back to my project. First of all, let me show you my screen. So this is the screen, and this is the search page, and you can see the search page where we just type in our stuff. So I'll be comparing this search page. I use query as the variable here, so I'll be comparing this search, whatever the user searched here, type in here. Once you click on search, I'm going to compare it with the Firebase title. Okay, if it contains, not really comparison, I'm going to check if it let's say you type design. So if your query contains design, then I'm going to return this particular one. But if it does not contain design, I can just return no search query found. And if design is not here too, I'm also going to return no search query found, and that's and just like that. Okay, so this is my page and this is my application. So let me just bring up this stuff up. Okay, so here now you can see I'm actually using search delegate. Okay, so it just gave me this stuff. I'm using search delegate. Okay, so I don't want to show other pages, but let's just stick with this one. But in your case, maybe you design the interface on your own, like you just design everything using test form feed. Maybe you put an icon here to go back, and you have an icon here as well. You are free to go, but as long as you can retrieve the text from your test form feed using your text editing controller to retrieve the text that the user entered here, then you are good to go. You don't really have to do everything the way I did mine, because I add an icon here. So this icon is just to close. If I type it, it's going to clear the test feed, just like that. And this icon button, if I press it, it's going to pop the widget and then go back to the previous widget. All right, then this build result is where I'm going to, let's say you can use this as your body. Let's say you're using a scaffold widget. This can be your body widget where you want to show the data that was retrieved from Firebase. Okay, so in this case I'm using build result test hello. I just put this dummy test here and just make sure let's just fetch the data and then populate it. So just follow me as I move on, and make sure you already have Firestore in your prospect.yaml file, and collection reference. Let me see the version of Prospect I'm using. So I'm actually using Cloud Firestore 2.4.0. okay, that's what I'm using. So I'll go back now, and the first thing you want to create is the collection reference. Okay, that is just going to reference the all product collection. So if I go to my Firebase, you can see I have this all products, and which is the collection I'm actually referencing. So I say collection reference, then this is the variable name, then firestore.instance or collection.allProducts. okay, but if yours is still inner, let's say you have docs and not like with the way we have for these cards now, we have cards.docs there. This one I use the user ID to put this one, then we have the collection. So you can just put you can just do something like this to actually retrieve this. Let's say you have something like this, collection all-product.docs, then you put the user ID, then you can now go over again to the collection, which is the items, okay, to actually retrieve the data from there. This is going to do if assuming you have some inner stuffs, okay, so items, and then you now have the IDs of the products. But in this case, I'm just using all products, and you can see it has no doc, so I just use the ID and then we'll just populate it. Okay, I hope you get what I'm saying. So let's just go back. All right, so this is it, and the Firebase Firestore. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a stream builder to actually show this stuff, which is the build results. I'm going to remove this. Okay, then here I'm just going to return. Okay, so I'm going to return a stream builder, because I want to use stream builder to actually fetch this data. Okay, stream builder is better. You can use a future builder if you want, but I like going with stream builder. And since we are working with the Firebase, it's also always good to add a type, okay, so that we are going to get the proper data we need. So I'm going to call this one query snapshot. Okay, snapshot, yeah. And then I'm going to add a stream. So the stream is basically the stream to just listen to the data, and then just get the data from class Firestore. So I'm going to use stream, and make sure you use this variable you created, this instance. So we use Firebase Firestore. Okay, dot snapshot. Yeah, snapshots you would do, but I always like adding as broadcast stream. So now the builder, I believe you already know what builder does. It just returns the widget that we want. So the first widget that comes here is actually the build contest. So we just use contest here, and then we have the second one, which is a snapshot that returns the data. So in this way, I'm going to use the type, which is a sync snapshot. So inside here, now you can see this stuff is showing red. That's because we need to return something. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to check if the snapshot has no data. That means it's still loading there. I can just show a cycle progress indicator. But if it does has data, then I can just return our data. Okay, so what I will do now, just use if statement here. So I will say if snapshot. Okay, let's say if snapshot does not have data. So you see this exclamation mark here, that if it does not have data, so I can just return a center widget with a child, and I'll call this a cycle. You can show anything you want. You can show maybe your custom loader, and that's still okay. So in this case, I'm going to use a cycler progress indicator, and don't forget to terminate it as well. So if there is data, then we can do whatever we want to do. So fetch the data here. Okay, fetch data here. All right, so this is actually a method, also another method how you can fetch data from Cloud Firestore in case you're finding it difficult. Okay, and it's still showing red. So if the snapshot that has data, if it does not have data, we show the cycler progress indicator. Then if it has data, I can, let me see if I can print in the snapshot the data here first, then before I return the test widget, or let me just return a list view first. Okay, so the list view we just have children, yeah, children. Okay, so inside this children, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to check. You remember the previous video I showed you guys, we use the where argument, like the where, should I call it clause or argument? Okay, so we use the where objects to actually to check if the query of the user. So in this case, in your own case, you might be using the test controller, okay, test editing controller to retrieve the test. But my own test now is coming because I'm using search delegate, so it's coming from this query. Okay, so whatever the user types inside the search box, which is whatever the user types inside the search box, that's what I'm going to add inside the whatever the user types inside here. Okay, so it's going to add up to this query, just the way you have test editing controller. Whatever the user add, the test editing controller will just going to retrieve it. All right, okay, so let's move on. And now what I'm going to do now is just to okay, we have the query, fine. So I'm going to use the snapshot dot data dot docs. Okay, so I'll say something like snapshot dot data, no, snapshot, okay, dot data. Okay, I'm not supposed to use the spread of argument, so let me just use it as way. Yeah, and okay, say snapshot dot data, okay, dot docs. So you want to get the docs as well. So the docs, that's where the data are. If you want to get the length of all the items inside the docs, just use dot length, you will get all the data. Okay, then we say snapshot.docs dot where, because I want to check where the title inside the Cloud Firestore, if it contains the query that the user just typed in there, I want to return the data. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll say where the elements, fine, we get the elements now, but I want to make this element to be a little bit, I want to give it a type, I want to add a type to it, so that way it will help us in searching the data properly. So I'll just use query snapshot, query document snapshot. Okay, yeah, query document snapshot, and it's going to be an object. Yeah, object, that's what it's going to return. And so here now, what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to check elements. So if where the elements, then the title, note the title, which is this. Okay, title, make sure it's the same. You can use any, if you want to search based on description, you want to search based on date, you want to search based, maybe you have location, you want to search based on location, you can still use location. Okay, all right, so I'll go back here and I'll say if elements, okay, then the title. For better searching, it's always good that you convert the query that the user typed to lowercase, and also convert the title inside the Cloud Firestore to lowercase. That way you will not have this conflict. Let's say the user just type uppercase and all your data they are all in lowercase, so there will be this, you might not get the data you want, and you might even end up searching for days looking for where the bug is coming from. Okay, so I want to convert this to string before I can convert it to lowercase. Okay, so once I get that, I can now say dot contains, okay, where to string dot to lowercase dot contains. So if it contains the query, remember that's the query I showed you. You can use your text editing controller here. So if it contains query dot, also convert the query to lowercase for proper searching. And if it contains that, then what I want to do is just to map through the items. So let me just format this properly. So what I will do is still showing where, don't worry. Remember, it's a map, is a list, so I can just map through the items to get the elements. So the elements now are stored inside this E. Okay, so I also want to give this E a type as well. So the E is also going to have the same type. Okay, so just copy it and paste it here. So I can remove that E and just name it to data, because E is what you get by default whenever you do stuffs like this. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is just to return, first of all, I want to get the data. Okay, so I will say, let me get the title, is a string, so I will get the title from Firebase. Okay, so the title, still title, I'm going to get it as well. So I'll say data, and then I'll say title, like so. Okay, but you can still use, if you don't want this way, you can use title.get, okay, and then put the feed name, which is title. So whichever one you want will still go. Okay, but let me just use the two. So the second one I want to get to is the image. So the image is stored inside the thumbnail, so I'll just use data.thumbnail. Okay, in case you don't know that, let's go to my Cloud Firestore, and you are going to see thumbnail, which is where I store the image. And we have, yeah, we have thumbnail, so that's where I store the image. Okay, and I can also get the let me just get the author name as well. So let me say name equal to data. Okay, data, and I can just call this author name. Yeah, make sure it's the same with this one. If not, you will get the feed does not exist in the firestore database, stuff like that. Okay, so make sure they are the same. And once you do that, then I think there are also one thing I need to get, or nothing else. So let's just leave it this way. And now I'm going to return the widgets I want to display. So in this case, I want to display the list style. Okay, I want to display list style, and so the list style, the first thing I'm going to have is the title. So the title, we're just going to have this title, this very one here, and then I'm going to have the leading is going to be a cycle avatar. Okay, so I'm going to have it as, let me say, background image, and it's going to be a network image because it's coming from the internet. So it's going to be a network image, and then you can pass in the image URL there. And then finally, I'll have the subtitle. You can design this whichever way you want. Yeah, so it just depending on what you want, how your UI is, how the UI designer gave it to you, and all the stuff. So you can just design it that way. But this data is still going to populate its stuff. Okay. And remember, the list I also have on top. Let's say after searching, you want to navigate the user to the detail screen to view all their stuff. So just use your on tap, and then inside the on tap, you can just maybe navigate to the page you want to navigate to using your navigator.push. And then maybe once you call the route you want to go to, you are required now to pass in the datas. Okay, you're required to pass in the datas. I'm going to show that example right here, right now. Okay, so we're going to navigate to the detail screen. Okay, where you can now show all the datas you want to show. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, let me see if I save this stuff, if it's going to, okay, where's my, okay, let me open this, and oops, save it, and let me open this. Okay, so what I'll do now, I'm just going to clear this stuff. Let me type hello to see if it's going to return any data. Okay, nothing was returned. So let me see my Cloud Firestore to see if I have any similar title. Okay, let's type with you, or like let's start with baby. Okay, so baby contains this title, so let's check if that's going to return. All right, open my this thing and come here. Okay, so now I'm going to type in baby. Let me see if any data is going to return. Okay, I can't see anything. Okay, maybe I'll just do a hot restart real quick and then navigate to this very page. Okay, so I just did hot restart, and you can see the search anything here is now showing because this is search delegate. I was supposed to do a hot restart instead of hot reload. Okay, so you can see now search anything here is showing. This is the default text that shows whenever you come to this page. All right, so let's try to type for hello, and this should be blank, I believe. So let me type hello, and this thing is going to be blank because there's nothing like hello inside the database. Okay, so let me type baby. Remember, we have only one baby, so let me type baby and see if it's going to return. All right, so now we got you got me baby, Destiny Ed, and that's the author. So if you go to you got me baby, which is the title, if I go to the script, the author name, you can see it's Destiny Ed. All right, let's see another one, and this one now is title goes here. It got nothing like baby, so that's why we didn't return that. That's why the Firebase didn't return that one. And if you see, let's go to the next one, which is design. You can see it has nothing like baby. All right, so let me type design. It should be one because there's only one that have design here. So let's go back to the app, and here I'm going to remove this stuff and type in design. Okay, and type, you can see we have design WDDFT, which is the title WDDFT. All right, so this is what I want to show you. But what about if this stuff is empty? There should be something instead of showing us blank page. There should be something, so you don't have to show us blank page. Okay, so let me fix that real quick. So what I'm going to do now is to go to my Firebase. Okay, sorry, my project, I said Firebase. Oh, my bad. Okay, so I'm going to go to my project, and right here I'm going to use another condition again. So if the snapshot does not have data, normally we're going to show this the center widget. Then we're going to check here again if it has data. Let me remove this stuff. So if it has data, what do? I'm going to show a center widget that say no query containing this data is found. So I'm still going to use this similar stuff I use here. Okay, I'm still going to use this similar stuff. So where okay, yeah, this. Okay, snapshot dot this. Okay, I'm going to use this stuff too. Right here, I'm going to use if statement. So I will say if the snapshot dot data dot docs dot where this one title dot to string or lowercase dot contains this dot is empty. Have you seen that? So if it's empty, then that means there is no data. So what do? I'm just going to return a center widget, and I'm going to return the child, and the child is going to be a test. So I'll just say no search query found, something like that. Okay, no search query. It can be any test you want, so it doesn't matter. So I'll just use no search query found. All right, and then once there's any data, then I'll just return. Yeah, once there's any data, I'll just return this normal one. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy this. Yeah, let me just cut it. It's not supposed to be there. Okay, so I'll use the else statement. Okay, else, then show the normal data. All right. What did I press? Is there something like emoji in Android Studio? Okay, but I don't know what I pressed. So we can actually use emoji. Okay, so it's control alt column. Yeah, I mean this column. Yeah, this one. Maybe it's this one. Yeah, that's what I pressed to get that. Control alt this, and you're gonna see emoji similes which you can use in Android Studio. Wow. All right, so we learn every day. I just discovered this right now. So far we have been able to, okay, let me test this stuff first. I'm going to do a hot restart. Okay, and remember I said I'm not going to show my screen, so let me just skip that part first. So once it shows, I'm going to go back to the search page. All right, so now I'm in the search page. Okay, so I can show this now. So let's say I type in dog, which is, dog is not in our database. So if I search in dog and hit enter now, you can see we have no search query found. Okay, but if I type in design, which we know is in our database, and we should have the data which is design. So right now you can see how to search data and how to search in Firebase. So this is just the normal stuff I did. First, you create the collection because you know where your data are stored. Okay, you create the collection, this is the collection. Okay, and then second step, you just create your UI and every other thing. So your UI have the let's say search bar, test form feed where they're going to search, and then you retrieve those data from the test editing controller. Okay, just the way I did in the previous video. Okay, so you might want to go and watch it to get other insight as well. So here now we have once I just use the stream builder, the query snapshot, which is the type, and then I was able to stream it, which is the Firebase firestore snapshot, and then the builder, which I have the snapshot that is actually returning the data. So here, first thing I did was to check if it's empty. So if the snapshot does not have any data, we can just show a circular progress indicator. Remember, Firebase is very fast, but assuming I don't have internet connection, you're going to see this circular progress indicator. But it's very fast in retrieving stuff as long as your internet connection is okay. Okay, so that's why you might not see this circular progress indicator. Okay, and then secondly, what I did was to once we are sure that there is data inside, I'm not going to check if the snapshot.docs, if it contains if the title contains what the user typed, then we can just, if it does not contain, sorry, that is, if it's empty, then we cannot return no search query found. But if it contains it, then I just return a list view and then return the data. Okay, so it's just explainable and easy to understand. But some case you just want to pour all the data that the user just that are inside the database. You don't really have to use this where arguments and other stuff. So what you need to do is just to use snapshot.data.docs, and then you can now use dot map. Okay, so using this dot map, you're going to retrieve all the data inside. Let's try that. Okay, let's see if we are going to retrieve all the data inside the firestore. So you can see now, you can see now we have all the data inside the firestore. Okay, yeah, this is it. This is how you fetch data from firestore. Return list view.this, then you say snapshot.data.docs. So the reason why I use this children, this square bracket, and then I use this spread operator is because with this now I'll be able to add another widget here. Let's say I want to add this widget. You can add any widget. You want to add another widget, you can add any widget as well. So this one will actually allow us, okay, to do just that. So if I save it now, you can see there will be another widget here. All right, so with this spread operator we can use another widget, but sometimes you can, most people just use it direct like this. So using it direct like this now, you won't be able to show another widget on top of the other one. I don't know you understand, if you get my point. Okay, so that's just it. So I'm going to return it to the initial state as it was, okay, where we use the where. Okay, so now what is going to happen now, once I click on this item, I want to open this item with this title in the details screen, and once you show the details screen, that's where this video ends. Okay, so someone actually commented in one of my videos, like asking me how to navigate to another page using those data. So what I'm going to use now is just going to use remember, the other page must have a constructor that accepts the data you want to send, but in this case I just create a query snapshot object as a constructor. So what I'm going to pass is just the data, then from there I'm going to retrieve it this way from the data screen. Okay, so what I'm going to use now, use the navigator. Okay, dot push, context goes there, and material page route, and the material page routes takes, yep, let's see, the material page routes, I do forget this sometimes, so let's see if it's going to give us a hint. Okay, it takes a builder, and the builder has a context, and now we can now return the screen we want to show. So in this case I want to return the, okay, let me remove this. Okay, so in this case I want to return the details screen. Yeah, details page, not details screen. So that's, you can use any name to actually define your own, but I use details page and close it. You can see now the details page, it actually requires an argument to be passed. So if I hover here now, you can see it requires a query document snapshot. Okay, so here now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pass the data. It is a name constructor, so I'm going to pass this data because it has the same data type. All right, so if I go to this details page now, you can see it has a constructor, and this is the data, and this is the type, and it has this constructor. So once I retrieve it, I'm going to display the items. Okay, don't mind all these comments, it's just for reference sake. Okay, so you can see I am going to retrieve the data, widget.data.get, thumbnail, and other stuff. Okay, so now let me just save this stuff and then show you how it works. So I'm going to save, and now if I click on this item, it's going to take me to the details page. Okay, let's try that. And now we are in the details page, and you have the thumbnail, we also have the title, we have the author, and these are most of the data inside. If you can see the price now, which is USD 5,000. If we go to Firestore now, you can see the price is 5,000. Okay, so it's still similar stuff. And let me go back, and yeah, that's it. The description is hello my beautiful world, and if I go here now, you can see the description is still the same thing, which is hello my beautiful world. Okay, so far you guys have seen how to perform search, how to fetch data from Firebase, perform search, and also send those data to the next page. Okay, so this app is actually something I'm working. It's actually a personal project. I believe once I'm done, I'm going to show it to you guys, and I believe it's something you guys will really love to use. But I'm not currently done with the project. That's why I just Okay, just keeping it on low key. Okay, so guys, that's what I'm going to show you, and I hope you found something interesting and you learned a lot. So if you have any challenge, just hit me up. Email, I reply. Comment, I reply. Give it a like. And my next tutorial is going to be awesome. So I'll see if it's something I can actually create a video whereby a note-taking application using Firebase. So that way you will learn how to use Firebase authentication. You will learn how to use maybe I'm going to use provider for that. Yeah, definitely. So I'm going to see how you're going to learn how to use provider very well for we projects, how to use Firebase authentication, how to use write to database, read from database, update database and data, Cloud Firestore data, and also delete from Cloud Firestore. Thank you so much guys for watching this video. Please give it a like, and also please don't forget to subscribe.